Well, guys, I made it. Did the reunification express from Saigon to here in Hanoi. All right, so it's time for a stroll about, and let's check out a bit more of Hanoi and see what's going on. Let's do it. All right, guys, so I just wandered from the train station, took a left outside the main entrance to the train station, headed down a few blocks, took a right and another left, and now I'm outside the cathedral in the center of the old French quarter of Hanoi. Well, when I say the center, I guess spiritually speaking, the center, there's, if you go diagonally through this way like a bit, there's another kind of part of the French quarter, old French colonial quarter of Hanoi. But I think the main part, definitely, as far as the old governmental type buildings and so on, and fashion type district, are when you go down this way. So we're gonna check it from over this way, but in the other direction there are some interesting buildings as well, but it's more over this way. So let's check it out, because that's what we're focusing on today. The old French colonial quarter of Hanoi. And it's one of the best old French colonial quarters in the world. Hanoi was known as the Paris of the East. Paris of the East. Isn't that nice? But it's definitely got its own vibe. Hanoi's Hanoi. There's only one Hanoi. And for me, it's definitely my favorite city in Southeast Asia. Definitely favorite city in Vietnam, but I used to say Ninh Binh was my favorite part of Vietnam, or favorite town, or yeah, just favorite part of Vietnam, the countryside around there in particular. But I feel like it's been turned into a bit of a Disneyland type setup, so now it's not really that appealing to me. I definitely don't feel like I'd want to go back there again. But the way it used to be, it was definitely a bit of an oasis, you could say. So some nice old French shops along here, French type buildings. Yeah. When I first checked Dalat about 12 or 13 years ago, Dalat was already kind of ruined, really. All the old buildings had been knocked down. It's just been turned into a kind of a resort for people who want a bit of cooler climate, an escape for the people from Saigon for the weekend. So I didn't see Dalat when it was really nice. And Sapa, when I first went there about 13 years ago, it still had the old market, and a lot of the hill tribe people used to hang around the old market. So it still had a lot of charm. But my friends told me the market was demolished some years back. So as far as I'm concerned, Sapa still has the landscape though, but the town's not really anything too special. But this area is really cool. Hanoi is firmly my number one now in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. Well, this is cool with the old French church here. With this, looks like an old villa. I had a look in that old villa. It's got a little library in there. Seems to be some kind of official building. I think it's more than just a library. But yeah, who lived there in the past? Maybe the priest lived there, who knows? It's got some kind of official look about it. Some little French poodles here in the French Colonial Old Quarter. Hello, how are you doing? Please don't bite my finger. Can I touch you? Hey, yes. You're lovely, aren't you? Hey? Hello. How are you all doing? This person's looking for some money to apparently take care of these dogs. If you send it to me through my Buy Me a Coffee link, I'll make sure she gets most of it, minus a small administration fee, of course. Just kidding, guys, just kidding. No administration fees. If you send anything in her name, I'll definitely put it towards dog food. I don't need any food. I am self-sustaining, timeless, and eternal, immortal. But a coffee sometimes could be handy, just for the flavor. Okay, kids are getting out of school. Hello, how are you doing? Kids are out of school. It's a fun time for the parents. The building on the corner looks official, definitely French Colonial. I'd love to know what it used to be and what it is now. If you know, please let us know in the comments section. We'd be very excited to find out. Cafes everywhere in Hanoi. And they're great, actually. Lots of nice ones with chill vibe, where you can really relax and talk to people. Coffee costs half the price it costs in Bangkok, and it tastes much better. Let's wander along here a bit. So you can see the distinctive yellow color that is always kind of a sign of French colonialism, that they love this kind of yellow mustard color. Maybe to remind them of the Dijon mustard back in France. I'm sure they had it sent out by ship at the time. Who knows, right? Why yellow, right? Maybe they started with the North African colonies first, and the color of the landscape there is more like a yellowy kind of arid color. Who knows, right? Would have matched the uniforms, I guess, of the colonial troops at the time. Girls here seem to be a bit more light-skinned than Thailand and Cambodia and Malaysia and Myanmar. Even the officials break the law and ride their motorbikes on the footpath right outside the old French colonial police station, no less, which is still used as a police station. How about that for stamping your authority on something? And you see that a lot in the world. People take over from other powers. Quite often they just take the same buildings, set up the same institutions in the very same buildings. And yeah, it demonstrates power, doesn't it? Like, we're the power now, right? What a beautiful stretch of buildings here. We're on the lakefront, so a lot of beautiful French colonial buildings here along the lakefront. Over here we've got Uniqlo coming to a kind of fashion district. I guess they're stamping their authority on the fashion district, right? But there are a lot of shops from local designers. If you go further down here, like maybe half kilometer or something, there's a bunch of boutiques from local designers. So actually we'll take a walk by the lakeside here. Getting a lot more international tourists in Hanoi these days. When I first came here about 13 years ago, it was strictly, well, mostly the backpacker crowd, a lot less tourists. Now If you go further just along the side of the lake and up to the left, that's the original Vietnamese old town. So just a bit further the opposite direction from where we came from, the cathedral, just along that way. The cathedral is just through there. So the original Vietnamese old town has the same street layout that it's always had, and comes around that part of the lake over there. But that's a fascinating area as well. And yeah, the lake Hoan Kiem, I think it's called. Did I say it right, Ma? I'm not sure, but something like that. Classic. This is really the heart and soul of Hanoi, with the nice little tower in the middle on the island. And further away you can see the flags. There's a pagoda on another small island. You can cross over on a cute little bridge there for about a $1 fee, I think. Don't know what that $1 goes to, but hopefully it goes to keeping things tidy around there. Who knows? It would be a small fortune every day these days with all the tourists. There are a lot of tourists here now. It's kind of what I expected after this number of years. And when I first came here, because there were not that many tourists, kind of, considering what what there is here. There's a lot of cool stuff here. So the numbers of tourists were pretty low when you considered all the attractions here. But in that time, it still had, for I think the general public, a little bit of an edgy vibe, a wee bit, even though it was perfectly safe. So I think I was very lucky to come here in that time. It was kind of a sweet spot. Of course, you had a little bit of crime. You had bag snatchers and some kinds of confidence tricksters. Not as bad as Saigon though. So those kind of edgy things keep away the kind of average travelers, the people who like to play it safe, and fair enough too, why not? But over the years, Hanoi has definitely developed a good reputation as a really cool place to visit. Apparently in TripAdvisor, I think over the last 10 years or so, it's been voted in the top 10 destinations in the world, which is amazing. But it sounds fair enough to me. I love Hanoi. It's great. I would live here if everything fell into place in exactly the right way, for sure. All right, so you can see we've got some good sized buildings. A lot of French architecture around here. So this looks like it could be an old cinema. You can see from the corner there's a picture of Ho Chi Minh with a little kid. Let's just head a wee bit down here. So we're just kind of strolling along the south side of the Hoan Kiem Lake. We'll try to get across here. See Gucci over there, Burberry. This is the fashion district for the big brand names around here. Like I said, if you go further back in this way, you get the local boutiques. Some interesting stuff, kind of hit and miss, but that's the fun of it. I think for people who like to check out that kind of stuff, you're always going to find something interesting if you look around enough. So yeah, like I said, this looks like an old cinema. And this is actually, this building's the old post office building. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but let's head down this side street here. Very leafy and green. Some good spots in here. Quite a different vibe to where we started out. Back at the cathedral, it was pretty hectic. Of course, like I said, the cathedral, you just go the other direction and you come into the old quarter, the Vietnamese Old Town, which is definitely more hectic than the old French quarter. It's an interesting style there. But yeah, now we're in the administrative part of the old French quarter. And you see it's not so hectic here. There are some pretty nice places here for having a wee break, having a coffee and a snack. Not as noisy, is it? Still got some... Oh, I spoke too soon. We've got a seller up here with a speaker truck. But this is a nice spot here, for example. Oh, what's he doing? He's not selling, is he? He's got a speaker on top here. Maybe he's warning people against the evils of capitalism. Who knows? Maybe he was just telling some people to get the beep out of the way because they've got uniforms and they can do that. And they've got a speaker. One of the benefits of having a speaker on your truck. Not just for driving around Southeast Asia selling stuff. Yeah. Could be handy, right? But for my part, I'd rather have a train horn on my car that does a good job of getting people out of the way as well. Over here they have some drinks and they have little hookah here with tobacco. And he said I can try it. Can I try it? There's nothing in here right now. This one is for tobacco. He's showing us how to do it. And can I try? It's okay? Okay, let's try. Okay. My mind is blown. Thanks a lot. Very good. Nice. It's good. Very good. Thank you so much. Goodbye. A little bit of caffeine high there. Looking good, looking good. Nice spot here. A little bit high society style along here. Speaking of high society, so yeah, you see you can, in Asia, Southeast Asia, you can jump, you can easily just jump from hanging on the footpath on a little plastic stool, sipping your cheap coffee and smoking your tobacco hookah there. And then take a couple of steps, you've got, hello, you've got the rich people there that are enjoying their more expensive options, but not too expensive actually. This place looks very interesting, doesn't it? Very official. I'd like to know what that one is as well. But yeah, I said about high society, right? Let's try to get across here and yeah, we'll check out a bit more about high society. When I say high, I don't mean like, yeah, I don't mean like from like smoking hookahs, right? This is the Hotel Metropole. Let's take a peek inside. It's, I think, from about 1901. Let's see if we can sneak through here without getting ejected or rejected. It's got a lot of history, this place. The famous writer Graham Greene stayed here. Somerset Maugham. Nice little side or interior garden courtyard. Donald Trump famously had a meeting here with what's his name? Kim Jong-un, I believe, from North Korea. Nice ceiling fans there. And the bamboo bar. Swimming pool just through there. So of course a lot of other famous people have stayed here. We'll head on out. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see, in the time of the Vietnam War, or the American War as Vietnamese refer to it, the Vietnamese built a bunker under this hotel because they used it. Oh, what do you got there? What's that? Oh, nice. Thanks. Maybe later. Thank you. Goodbye.
Very cheap.
I'm sure it's very cheap. I'm sure it's very cheap. Thank you. Maybe later. Thanks. Vietnam communist hat, eh? If she caught me when I was a teenager, I would have jumped on that hat. I thought it seemed very chic. I had an old Chairman Mao, like an old communist Chinese hat, the green ones. A real one too. So into the fashion area here. Yeah, I had a real one. That was before I had visited any communist countries though, and seen the effects of that belief system and how damaged those countries were economically and in other ways too, as far as like morale and the spirit of the people is concerned anyway. But we're not going to get into politics here. So technically speaking, Vietnam's still a communist country, like China, but not like North Korea, because a lot of people say they follow it in name only. But I think even they'll admit, economically speaking, they have abandoned that. And obviously things are looking up quite well economically. And most people seem to be pretty happy as well. So anyway, that's that. Anyway, let's keep chatting a bit about Hanoi's old French colonial quarter. When I first came here, in the travel guides at the time, they didn't really say anything about this part of the city. It was pretty weird. It was kind of like, I don't know, it's like they thought it wasn't really worth mentioning too much about it, which was strange, you know. So when I found this part of the city, I was really surprised, you know. I was quite impressed by it. The architecture is fantastic. Nowadays they talk about this stuff. You can find a bit of writing about it, quite a lot online of course as well. But yeah, also in the travel guides they don't shy away now from talking about it. Maybe in the past it was considered to be, I don't know, maybe they thought the authorities here wouldn't like them to focus too much on that historical part. Hard to say, really. So that's the opera house over there. Because if you're gonna set up a French colony, you need an opera house, right? How else are you gonna enlighten the natives of your colony as to your superior cultural stuff without getting them into opera? That's why you see all these Vietnamese these days going around walking on the streets singing operatic, what do you call it, arias or whatever? Yeah, singing all these operatic numbers. Well, I haven't seen any actually, but I assume there must be some, right? I guess. Okay, made it across again thanks to the camera evidence that we would have been able to not provide to the cops if we had been killed here. But okay, cool sculpture there with the, looks like a rose. Nice little park here. There are a lot of nice little parks. Thank you to the French for that, I think we can say safely. It's interesting looking. Another thing I've noticed, really quite interesting, a lot of the architecture from the last decade or so, not a lot, but a fair amount, has been constructed to fit in very nicely with the older stuff. Very nice, I like it, tasteful. You see that in Hanoi quite a bit. They try to fit things together. You don't always see that in Southeast Asia. A lot of newer stuff is very utilitarian and built to be disposable, built to last for 10 or 20 years until people have more money and can rip it down and replace it with something bigger. There's an ethos of functionality, of make do. Round of applause, a round of applause. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your applause, but I'm not finished yet. We'll keep on wandering a wee bit more. So, some kind of nice little garden area along the side of the opera house here. Some nice wrought iron work along the side here. Let's cross over. So another nice little triangular type park here. Really nice, lots of little green spaces around. Some kind of large building in the back there. Looks like they're doing some renovation on it, but you can see the large yellow building there. Looks like it would have been important in the past. Not sure what it is now, but yeah, again, if anyone knows, please write it in the comments section. I would really love to know. Hanoi is a great place, and I definitely hope to come back again. Let's try to get across here. So it's my second trip to Hanoi. I'm already planning another trip to come back again. That's how much I like it. Really. Okay, so as you can see, still plenty of high-end shopping around here. Prada. I like the sound of the name. Some of their gear is alright. Maybe if I can get enough people to click that buy me a coffee link, maybe I can buy a Prada hat one day to impress my loyal viewers here on Seeker of the Way. I would love to have a Prada hat just to like show the world how loyal and wonderful the viewers of Seeker of the Way channel are. That would be so cool. Here's an interesting place. Looks like it was an old church at one point. It's open. Can we peek in, or is someone gonna yell at us? Let's find out. Let's see. Hello! Hello, how are you? You okay? What's that? What's wrong? What's wrong? What are you doing? What are you doing touching me? Oh my goodness. What's he doing there? Is it like... What's he doing there? What's going on? So you get a lot of that stuff in Southeast Asia. I wasn't surprised, actually. He gave me a little poke in the chest and like tried to slam the door in my face, yelling his head off. Why? It's an old church, right? The door is open. I could just get my head around the side of the door a little bit there. What's wrong with just trying to communicate calmly and politely? I don't know. Yeah, this stuff has happened to me in Southeast Asia more times than I can count, actually. But okay, I've had how many years now? Oh, it's like 13 years mostly hanging out around Southeast Asia, but started checking out Southeast Asia like 20 years or so ago, and other parts of Asia before that as well. So got a lot of experience with Southeast Asia. That's why I can laugh about it. But I actually was not surprised that he acted so strangely like that, and I just wanted to show you guys how you can get these totally bizarre reactions like this. So yeah, that's how predictable it is. But if you have enough time in the region, and if you don't insulate yourself with a lot of money, if you live on a basic budget and do your own thing, you know, don't pay people to do every little thing for you, then you have the normal experiences, right? I do happen to run across people who have quite a bit of money from time to time, and you know, when we talk about some things and I mention things like that, they're always quite shocked. You know, they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never had such an experience before. I've always found people to be so lovely and charming in the region. And then you talk to them, you're like, well, where do you live? Well, I have a penthouse I pay $3,000 per month for, with a maid and a driver, and you'd be surprised how many people live like that, like people who are not from Southeast Asia, but they live like that in Southeast Asia, and then they think their experience is typical. They somehow think that they're seeing the real Southeast Asia, and some of them do see it, to be fair, of course, why not, right? If they get into the grassroots, if they actually get out and about and walk on the streets, not have themselves chauffeured around everywhere, not pay people to set everything up for them and take them around and act as a buffer between the real life experience, right? But yeah, it's all part of the flavor. If everything was the same, wouldn't be that much fun, would it? This is an interesting building. I was thinking about this. I was walking past here with two girls last night, and we were talking about the architecture of this place. It's really could be quite old, right? I thought it might be 1920s, 1930s. It's definitely a mix of architecture with some Asian motifs, but obviously with some European aesthetic. But yeah, at the same time, it could be just a kind of an imitation, right? Who knows? Let's see if we can get through here. Honk, honk. Translation, move or I kill you. What's this one? This is nice, isn't it? And they've put something behind it that's obviously not very old, but it's made to fit in. See what I mean? They try to fit things in on the footpath, eh? Yes, it's a bit of a plague in the region, isn't it? The cars and motorbikes on the footpath. It's a nice stretch along here with the trees. Let's get across the crosswalk, which of course doesn't protect you at all, but I find Vietnam is a lot more pedestrian friendly, believe it or not, than some parts of the region. All right, let's try to scoot across here. This one looks quite incredible, doesn't it? Look at that veranda on there, eh? Wouldn't you love to just own that place and sit up there and have your afternoon teas and socialize a bit with your comrades? But we don't have time for that now. Wish I did, but don't have time for that now. Now they've got the communist flags all stretched along here. No time, we have to rebuild society, right? No time for afternoon teas. Now we have afternoon coffees to get the energy up and roll up the sleeves and get the hammer and sickle out and get harvesting and get building industry. Yeah. Okay, so obviously Vietnam has been rebuilt. It's in good condition now. Life's looking pretty good in general. People eat well. People can work. Most people are happy. This is not a propaganda advertisement at all for anything, but like I said earlier, they've got their own system now. It doesn't really follow the old communist way anymore. And as far as other aspects regarding elections and so on, well, let's leave that up to the Vietnamese people to decide how they want to handle that kind of stuff, because it's their country. So, and I think they've shown they're quite happy to pick and choose how they want. They've retained a lot of aspects of French culture that they liked, and obviously they rejected the bits they didn't like. Here's a cool statue in this wonderful park here. This guy is from about 1,000 years ago. Obviously he's a very important figure in the history of Vietnam. Lai Tai To. I probably did not say that right. And I'm gonna have to look him up later, but I think he was involved in getting this country free from the Chinese, maybe, if I recall, but I'm not sure about that. I'll check into that. And we've kind of circled back around to the lake here, the Hoan Kiem Lake. This is a cool plaza here. I came through here yesterday evening. It was filled with these bloody annoying electric plastic little mini cars and tank things and truck things that kids can ride around. And they were riding or screaming around in them very dangerously. No one seemed to give a rat's about if they might ram into someone's legs. I'm sure they have many accidents. Yeah, kind of an annoying thing. But the people renting them out will always make a big fuss and argue that it's good for people to make money, right? But it kind of affected the vibe quite a lot. It's a nice spot there. So you see it says Vietnam Post. So these buildings, this is like a complex of buildings here. Yeah, it's the old post office from the French time as well. Been remodeled a bit. There's a really cool little tower over there just on the side. I don't know if you can see it clearly through the traffic, but that's quite interesting as well. And this guy has got some interesting looking stuff. And he's got a big knife. So here's the old post office. Let's see if we can take a look, or if we're gonna have another wild encounter with someone screaming for no reason at all. Hello.
Where are you from?
New York City.
You're in Michigan name.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. It's pretty cool. The map of the world there. It's nice, very nice. This guy tried to block me coming in here about this time yesterday as well. He wasn't too rude about it, to be fair though. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye. Bye-bye. No, thank you. Bye-bye. Alright guys, so that's the end of our little tour through the best of the French colonial old quarter in Hanoi, Vietnam. So if you haven't subscribed already, of course, please do hit the bell button, comment and like and all that good stuff, and see you in the next one, and don't be late.